because what'll happen is it'll keep rebooting.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to get to it.
Were you not able to get to this point?
Yes. So we're good here.
Okay.
And then.
Well, can you close the doors?
Sure, sure.
Let's see here. What I'm wondering is.
And here's the barcode thing that pops up. This might even be better.
Got it. That does tell me something. How often does this happen?
So if it opens to after the password, 20 seconds, and it'll go to that, and then reboot, and just keep repeating the same thing.
Okay. So if I log in.
Yeah.
You want to log in?
Sure.
Oh, wrong keyboard. Sorry. Use that one.
All right.
That one.
Now this is my mom, so I'm only visiting,
All
and
right.
so
So Kelly's your mom?
yeah. So that's of course the day I show up, her computer
Right.
starts acting up.
Yeah. Of course you bring it here, and I don't see it crash. Let's see.
I think we'll have good luck.
Well, let's see.
You do podcasting?
Yeah. Actually, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you. I'm live right now. I try to have these conversations live.
Okay, great.
And then, just don't give up any passwords or anything personal. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, these conversations can get sort of technical.
Yeah.
And if I fix it on the fly, you can even revisit it. It's like, oh, he said that.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's not making me any money or anything. It's just more people to Google. More footprint for me to be Googled on.
Absolutely.
There we are. So, okay, so
So I found that by launching Chrome, that got it to go pretty
well,
quick.
let's just see for the updates if there's maybe a BIOS update.
Got it.
But I mean, I'm kind of an update Nazi.
Absolutely.
You never know when those updates will just fix things.
See, if it wasn't automatic for her, it's probably not getting done.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're online now. What I'm wondering is if there's a BIOS update more critically. Windows updates are actually not quite as important as what I'm thinking. And of course, I need to see it fail. So theoretically, it'll crash in this state.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, so this is sort of the pattern that pops up,
Virus protection.
and then
Oh, I thought my air conditioning was on. Let me turn it on.
Sure.
That's why I wanted the door closed. Yeah, go ahead.
there it goes. It just did it.
Oh, it crashed?
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, I'm going to guess at this point your drive might be failing. Let's see here. Just turn this. There we go. All right, let's see what happens. Restart again. Let's see what happens. That's what that is. All right. There. Thinking your drive might be failed, but I can't diagnose that quite yet. I got to pound on it a minute or two. SSD or mechanical drives are very common, the most common failure of a computer. Come on. All right. Let's see here. Come on.
Sometimes I think it takes a single click and it'll pull up the password thing,
Right.
or it's not. And it's,
Well, if it is a failing drive, it could be that it's slowly responding. Go ahead and type that password again. Yeah, let's see here.
and so I probably did this 20 times trying to get
So
to
this
the,
is 100% repeatable.
yeah, that
Right.
same error will keep coming up, and then went through sort of the online. Here's what it may be: drive failure, exactly like you said, or
Drive-
the memory,
yeah.
the memory itself. Although I've never had memory go
Yeah,
bad.
RAM memory can fail, but it is less common.
Yeah.
So yeah, SSD and mechanical drives are a very common failure. Replacing it with a retail SSD is going to be a lot more reliable. But before I can confidently say that error is that failure, I'm going to play. Let's see if we can run it a long enough time to do a few updates. Alrighty. see if we can see what storage you have. Oh yeah, your drive is starting to fail because it can't open certain software titles.
Okay.
So we got some random errors. So the storage stores everything you see on the screen.
True.
If it can't respond reliably, that's another piece of evidence leading back. Let me see here. Does she care much about her stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, OneDrive is not behaving properly. That leads to, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think your SSD is failing, or mechanical drive. Let's see what you have in here. Let's see. So was this thing about 3 or 4 years old?
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah, so it's about as old as I'd recommend putting effort into. After about 5 or 6 years, it's time to
That's why I told her something similar, like,
Yeah.
you might get into just be better to buy a new one.
So I would charge $100 labor plus the part is generally also about $100. So if it's worth it,
To swap the
200.
drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'd reinstall Windows, relog into OneDrive. If we can get this thing to run long enough to get OneDrive to properly function, maybe get her stuff in the cloud, so all she has to do is sign back in.
Got it.
So she's got a mechanical drive and maybe an SSD also. Let's see. I think some of these machines have the option for both. I'm not seeing an M2. Let me see. If it stays at this screen, will it not crash?
It won't.
Yeah, okay, cool. So you're accessing less reliable parts of the drive.
Got it.
Let's see what our options are. Okay, so this is a slightly older model. Meaning it doesn't, so even some of the cheaper Dells will take the new SSD M2, but this is certainly workable. We can put a conventional 2.5-inch SSD.
Okay.
Actually, let's see how big I have. A 1 terabyte's gonna be like $90. You wanna log in again?
Yeah.
Make sure it's not so precarious. Oh, you got webs in there. Yep, spider evidence. All right. Almost literal bugs. Good. Okay, so I want to see how big her drive is. She doesn't necessarily need a full terabyte.
Yeah, no, this is a Facebook computer for
Got
her.
it. Yeah.
She's 82.
So,
The problem is she didn't like her book. She wrote a book, and her book is on there. That's probably one of the.
all right.
And then she uses programs like Amy Pro, which no one I think uses anymore.
Right.
So if there's any way to salvage the program, great. If not, there'll have to be a.
The program will need to be reinstalled. Program
Regardless, okay.
Data can be snatched,
Yeah.
but programs need to be manually reinstalled.
Okay. So that may just be a loss.
Well, if the OneDrive was working, we can just let it sit in a dormant position. Oh, she's also got Dropbox. I'm wondering.
Yeah, we can see. I bet you she doesn't. I wonder if that came ready to go.
Users, Kelly. So whatever's on the desktop, all that stuff. It looks like if we can get this thing to just sit here. So this is all the stuff. Oh, she's not signed into OneDrive, so OneDrive's not being used.
So that Bohemian Family book is probably the most for her would be one of the more important.
All right. Do you know if she has a Microsoft account?
No, my dad would have done that, and unfortunately, he's heading, in the wrong direction mentally.
Right, got it.
So,
Well, then we don't have to worry about that. Do you have a Microsoft account?
I'm a Mac guy.
Not a big deal. Well, you can still have a Microsoft account.
Okay.
Because it covers both Mac and Windows if you wanted to.
Oh, I was doing boot camp.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's not even that you would need to use Boot Camp and put Windows on the machine. You can log into OneDrive and have access to all your stuff. And then it also, if you pay the $100 a year to rent the 365, it allows on up to 5 devices to have Office installed, which
Okay.
could also be Mac if you wanted to.
Got it.
So yeah, we can't reliably get this thing to run. It's looking more and more like the drive needs to be replaced. I can still make a basic, honest attempt at grabbing your data.
So can you turn that drive just into a D drive,
Yeah.
And then that way I can,
Yes.
later I can just try to see what I can get.
Yes, yes, that's exactly what we can do.
All right.
So if you have Amazon, I can just walk you to exactly.
Yeah.
Makes my bookkeeping easier.
All right.
That way I don't have to prove you bought it, and that's not $100 more of my income.
So what do you recommend?
Seth, you're gonna do let's say a 5. I wanted to see how much stuff she had. You can get a 500,
Okay.
or 1 terabyte's gonna be like $90 from Samsung. So do a 1 TB
Okay.
SSD, and then 2.5. It's generic verbiage unless you're a geek. Yeah, there you go. And Samsung is my go-to brand. There we go.
All right.
So scroll. There's a $100 one.
Cool.
If you get
For 1 day? Yep.
Yeah, sure. You have Prime?
Yeah.
Good. So you can either bring that to me or have it delivered here, whatever. And then I'll reinstall Windows and we'll slave this, meaning exactly as you said, just make it a D drive and you can try to drag your stuff over. It's sort of normal behavior for a mechanical drive to fail after 3 or more years.
Got it.
And of course, this is an upgrade because as SSDs were invented, because they're also faster, it's going to be a twice as fast computer. Not that she'll necessarily notice since she just pokes around on Facebook. There we have it.
There we go. All right.
So if you want, you can leave this here,
Yeah.
and then we'll be good.
So it says it'll be here tomorrow.
Perfect.
If for some reason they don't deliver till later,
That's fine.
my sister will probably end up having to take
Sure.
over because we're heading back on Saturday.
No problem. You see how these individual labels are? You want
Yeah.
to just put your name and number on there?
Absolutely.
I do with my here's one right here.
Awesome.
Here we are. I don't necessarily need that pin because we're replacing this drive.
Let me just ask her if there's anything that's hypersensitive.
Yeah.
I don't think there is.
Right, I'm not going to touch it until I get that drive. And the cool thing is I don't have to worry about accidentally messing with that drive because I'm just going to plug it back in after I reinstall Windows on the replacement.
All right. Can you read my horrible handwriting?
That's all I need. I probably already have you in my phone, so there we go. 4816, got it. Sweet.
All right. So yes, and what time do you think you'll be here till tomorrow? Because
Well, it depends. I mean, I'm gonna stick around for as long as I have work. Otherwise, I was gonna take off for the weekend.
So
Yeah, just let me know.
yeah. So if not, then we'll
wait
figure.
for you.
You know, and she's got a handicap thing, so if she had to bring it to you, I'll tell her to park in the handicap
And I'll
spot.
just do that's
If you
exactly
could run
right.
out for
Yeah.
her because she's
That's-
87.
yeah,
So
I expect to do that sort of service. I don't necessarily expect people to lug their stuff up the stair.
if I would, yeah. Actually, I didn't
Yeah.
even think about park. I could have carried that.
all right.
So I appreciate you coming down.
Sure, no problem.
All right. Have a great weekend. If I don't talk to you.
Thank you. You too. Alrighty. So there we are, everyone. Show up in the YouTube chat. Give me a conversation. 855-434-8787. South Bay Tech Gurus. That's a daily interaction. Straightforward SSD upgrade on this Dell Inspiron. What is this thing? Manufactured 2016. So it's for 6-year-old computer. Got it. I wish all computers had a manufacturer's date on it. That would tell me a lot. Sometimes I wonder because some of these enclosures don't change for many, many years. So anyway, give me a call, 855-434-8787. If you've never been here before, I interact with my customers live. I encourage you to show up in the YouTube chat and give me give me company.